It may not be around for long. The severe thunderstorm warning continues for all of western portions of Charlotte County and South Sarasota County and southeast Manatee County. It's all with that intense line of storms. And again, these tornadoes that pop up are usually brief, very small EF0s, EF1 tornadoes. But again, this is issued now until 12:30 this afternoon. All right. Is that right, Trevor? 12:30, yes. 12:30, the tornado warning has been issued now until 12:30 for that particular area. Here's the line in question, and you can see some pretty big storm right there over Rotunda and Placida right now, stretching off to Northport. So Northport, you're now getting the rainfall, and flooding a real concern near Inglewood, Port Charlotte, and Punta Gorda. And you can see we'll zero in on this particular cell. This is the one in question that you see right there for the potential of a Doppler indicated tornado, potential tornado on the ground pushing to the northeast at around 20 to 25 miles an hour. This is an interesting product called the shear product, and this is more than likely indicating some strong straight line winds or possibly up to 50, 60 miles an hour as this line approaches Hidden River, also Verna and Mayaca City. Not seeing it yet, but there's a certain chance that you will see this in the next half hour or so. You can see that how it's progressing to the east pretty quickly as far as that strong wind goes, and the storms themselves continue to move off to the northeast. Osprey, Venice, as well as into Nokomis. Things are quieting down there right now, but the ground is extremely saturated. And what we're concerned about, obviously, is this new tornado warning that has just been issued by the National Weather Service. You can see it right there in East Manatee County. Again, this is Wauchula. So, folks in Wauchula, you're not in that warning area right now, but there's a possibility it could be extended once we get past the 12:30 hour this afternoon. Again, a tornado warning has been issued by the National Weather Service until 12:30 for eastern portions of Manatee County, stretching off into western portions of Hardy County. The area in red that you see, obviously, as you have already heard, is a tornado watch. Now, again, a tornado watch. The severe thunderstorm warning has just been dropped by the National Weather Service. So we no longer are under a severe thunderstorm warning for Sarasota County or western portions of Charlotte County. That has just been updated now from the National Weather Service. This could go away very quickly, just as quickly as we saw the last tornado warning that was issued for Sarasota County. So once again, we'll stay on this storm for you. This is the one that prompted the National Weather Service to issue a severe thunderstorm warning for much of Sarasota County. Right now, we do not anticipate any severe weather in downtown Sarasota, Longboat Key, Lido, or Bradenton, or Anna Maria Island for that matter, as this is the main line. It's not to say that it's over, the threat, but for the time being, it is. Thus, the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center still has us under a tornado watch that you see outlined in red, meaning the potential is there for the possibility of tornadoes, at least for the next few hours. Now, that's until 4. We'll see if more storms develop to the west of us right now. Some models are indicating that they may, some are indicating that it may not. This may be the last line of intense storms, but we'll keep an eye on it for you nonetheless. So now it's by Hidden River as far as that goes. Parmalee, east of Verna, so it's moving relatively quickly off to the east now as far as the damaging winds go. So that's more than likely the outflow from that very heavy rainfall that we're watching right there. And we'll again watch. This was what we were seeing with some of the earlier reports on that wind shear product, which doesn't necessarily translate to the surface as far as those winds go, but it still indicates that there's some very strong winds behind it. Heavy rain to moderate rain still occurring near Parrish, stretching down all the way to Siesta Key. And again, to the east thereof is where the strongest cells are located. And even those are starting to show some signs of weakening at this point. So I would suspect that the National Weather Service will more than likely drop this tornado warning prior to 12:45. Now a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. So as I said, Venice, you're out of the woods right now. Sarasota, Bradenton out of the woods with this particular cell. But now all of western portions and central portions of Hardy County, as well as most of DeSoto County, under a severe thunderstorm warning, meaning the potential still exists there, up to 60-mile-an-hour winds, small hail, very heavy rainfall, and that tornado warning is continuing now. So folks in the path of this tornado warning should seek shelter immediately. What that means is obviously going into a small interior room, away from windows, and in a closet. A bathroom offers excellent protection. Bring some pillows and blankets with you, and driving is not advisable at all in this situation. If you live in a manufactured home, you should seek shelter immediately outside of that home. We saw that happen a few years ago in DeWitt when some manufactured homes were destroyed as a result of EF1 tornado that moved on through. So it doesn't take much to cause those kind of problems. So we'll keep it here right now, and we'll continue to watch this warning. We're going to send it over to Scott Dennis here in just a minute, and he'll give you an update on all the different things that are happening as a result of this storm that's about halfway over. We'll have more on that coming up a little bit later. Scott?
All right, Bob, thank you so much. This line of storms already causing some damage here on the Suncoast. Today we have crews across Sarasota and Manatee counties checking out the conditions. And we're going to begin in Myakka City, where a suspected tornado caused some damage earlier this morning. The family that lives in a house there say they woke up around 7:30 hearing what sounded like someone trying to break into their house. What they heard was actually part of their porch being ripped off. The debris was scattered all over their property, even into their neighbor's yard. There's also a lot of tree branches scattered along Kibler Ranch Road in Myakka City, where a suspected tornado was spotted earlier this morning. Now, as Bob mentioned, a big portion of the Suncoast was also under a tornado watch. Now, this is what you need to know to stay safe. If a tornado warning is issued where you live, first identify a safe place in your home where you can go, like an interior room or closet. If you're in a high-rise building, pick a hallway in the center of the building. You're in the mobile home, choose a safe place in a nearby sturdy building. And again, mobile homes, as you heard Bob talk about, are not safe in tornadoes. The storm already dumping several inches of rain across the area, and that's causing many streets to flood. We've had a lot of reports of flooded streets, cars stuck in floodwaters. ABC 7's Ray Collins has been out all morning getting a first-hand look at the conditions. He joins us now live in Sarasota with more today. Ray?
Hi, Scott. The steady rain continues here in Sarasota. There's flooded roads, as you know. There's broken traffic lights and also a lot of washed out plans as well. Surf's up on US 41 outside the Ritz-Carlton. This is one of the many areas that's first to flood in heavy rain. Meantime, farther south on Tamiami Trail, a traffic light isn't working, causing drivers on side streets to dangerously make their own openings in traffic. The Sarasota police chief says it's a good day to stay off the roads.
Well, we really recommend that people not come out to drive if they don't have to. Make sure if you see water, turn around, don't drown. The weather conditions are going to deteriorate as the day goes on.
Some 40,000 Sarasota County students were in school but will be going home after the final bell. School board member Bridget Ziegler says the first semester is ending on a soggy note.
With all of the weather patterns, expectation, and projections, they canceled after-school programs and basically kicking off the holiday break a little early.
Because tomorrow you're closed.
Yes.
Back live here in Sarasota, a steady rain continues right now. You can see the raindrops off that retention pond here in Sarasota. The biggest danger when you're driving right now in the area is you don't know when you're going to come upon a lane that is flooded until you're in it. So take it slowly, just to be sure. In Sarasota, Ray Collins, ABC 7. Scott, back to you in the studio.
All right, Ray, thank you. Some other areas of Sarasota also seeing some flooding. This was how US 301 and 6th Street looked around 7:30 this morning. Water pulled up to the side of the road. Our crews saw one car stalled out in that water. This section of 301 often floods when we get heavy rainfall like today. Also this morning, the maintenance crew came out to that area. They cleared a drain, and that did help the water recede at that point. Now, there's also some street flooding in Venice as well. Police units are blocking the Esplanade North between Madrid Avenue and Ormond Street due to flooding. Use caution as you approach area bridges. Police are urging drivers to go slow, buckle up. Remember to keep your headlights on and your flashers off. Right now, there are also about a dozen roads in Sarasota County that are closed due to flooding. Several county parks are closed as well. We have a complete list for all of that on our website. Just go to mysuncoast.com. We are constantly updating it as that information comes into our newsroom. So check it out before you have to hit the roads today. The best advice is to stay off the roads if possible today and just stay home and stay safe. Now, this severe weather could not come at a worse time. Today is one of the busiest travel days of the year. According to AAA, millions of people are expected to travel for Christmas and New Year's. David Curley shows us how the storms could impact holiday traffic.
I'm David Curley at Dulles International Airport. It is the Christmas holiday rush. We are on the tarmac here where the airlines, we're with United today, are keeping very busy. This is an aircraft that's going to be headed to Atlanta in just a little bit, and they just started to bring the bags up. This is the busiest time for this holiday season, today and tomorrow. Thursday, a little less than 3 million, getting very close to 3 million travelers tomorrow, Friday, who will be heading home for the holidays. Now, TSA has to deal with this volume as well as the airlines, and TSA tells us they've added officers to try and make sure that everybody gets through security and they don't have the long lines. And the airlines have added 150,000 seats. Got some more bags coming over here. And they do that, they add the seats by making sure that aircraft that may be scheduled for maintenance either get the maintenance before the holiday season or put it off until right after the holiday season so that they can get everybody on these aircraft and get them to where they want to go. Now, there is a storm coming for the East Coast. You've heard it. It hit the West Coast earlier this week. The airlines tell us they believe they can handle everything that this storm throws at them. It's expected to be rain. Rain's not a problem. I can tell you the airlines were really worried it was going to be snow. But at this point, everything looks like it's smooth going for those who are flying over the next couple of days. I'm David Curley at Dulles International Airport in Virginia.
All right, let's get to meteorologist Josh Stone, who's sitting next to me. Maybe we can pull out to a two-shot here. Josh has been following the weather throughout the morning, and you know, the severe weather is pushing towards the east, and we have had a ton of rainfall here today.
A lot of rain, Scott, and some areas being reported about over 5 inches of rain, even 6 to potentially 7 inches of rain. We're going to go to Bob Harrigan right now and find the latest on what's happening right now.
Yeah, the storm started rolling in early this morning around 6 o'clock or so. We had a couple of tornado warnings then from the 6 to 8 o'clock hour, then a couple more since then. Still, we're watching this intense line of storms continuing to move now slowly to the east, and it is producing a lot of rainfall. That's a big issue right now. And notice what's happening on this latest radar imagery. You'll start to see a lot more rain even developing behind this particular line of intense storms, and that's all moving off to the north and east. So it's not over yet as far as the rainfall goes into places like Venice, which is already reporting flooding, Port Charlotte, and into Sarasota, and into Manatee County. Bradenton has had quite a bit of rainfall as well. I can reports near Bayshore Gardens from one viewer getting 5 inches of rainfall there. Although it's not showing up on the estimates, certainly it could have occurred. Now, these are estimates that have taken earlier, just about an hour ago. These are up to near 7 inches now. 7 inches estimated rainfall. Now, as you can see, and this location is just to the northwest of Northport, so it's in East Venice and then down north of Inglewood. Over 5 inches of rainfall there as well, and more on the way. Lesser amounts, but still there could be some isolated areas. I mentioned near Bayshore Gardens, up to 5 inches of rainfall already reported there. And with the ground saturated as much as it is, I'm kind of concerned, as we all are, with the potential for those strong winds that we're going to see beginning late tonight and tomorrow. Because the root structure, obviously a shallow root structure, trees, very moist now on the ground, and with the ground saturated, these trees will go down fairly quickly in some cases if you get winds up to 50 miles an hour. We're still under that tornado warning, as you see, in east portions of Manatee County and southwestern portions of Hardee County. That's in effect until 12:30. And when the National Weather Service is indicating that intense line of storms, there's little kinks, if you will, or rotating cells inside that line. So I would not be surprised to see another warning or two pop up along that line as it progresses slowly off to the east. So Arcadia, Wauchula, look out. There could be some warnings headed your way. Right now we're in the clear as far as any severe weather goes currently into Bradenton, Palmetto, as well as into Parrish, Lakewood Ranch. You're out of the woods as far as this tornado goes as it's heading to the northeast. This area that you see right here is a severe thunderstorm warning due to that intense line of storms that continues to move off to the east. Something new that has come in as well. Again, this warning continues up until 12:30. There haven't been any reports of damage. I want to get to the flooding. This is a flooding advisory now. Flooding advisory. Driving is not recommended throughout the entire Manatee County area, as well as most of Sarasota County, as some of the roadways now are starting to flood, and that makes driving fairly dangerous, obviously really dangerous in this case. And this darker green, or brighter green, if you will, located right there along the Manatee River at the Rye Bridge, that is now a flood warning. A flood warning, not just an advisory, but flooding is occurring there at present. We'll take the flood watch out and show you this is basically the advisory that's in effect. We're still under that flood watch across Sarasota and Manatee counties through tonight. And then again, flooding occurring and being reported all the way from South Sarasota County northward through all of Manatee County and west and northwest Hardee counties at this time. Again, the darker green that you see now here is the flood watch for that particular zone. Now, we're going to take you out to the next aspect of the storm once we get through this. This is now a gale warning in effect, as you see this area in pink covering the entire eastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. And what that means is that we're going to see the potential, at least fairly certain, of 40 to 50 mile-an-hour winds. Again, I translated it to miles per hour for you folks out there. Again, remember that right along the coastline here is where you're going to see the potential for those stronger winds. Inland areas, it's still going to be very windy, not the 40 to 50, but you're certainly going to see winds up to 30 miles an hour with gusts occasionally up to 35 with the inland areas during the overnight hours tonight and tomorrow morning. So that's going to be a big concern for the potential for at least some power outages due to some trees and limbs and branches being ripped off, as well as a little bit of coastal flooding. That's not out of the question. High tide coming in at around 10 o'clock tonight, and then another high tide right around 1 o'clock in the afternoon tomorrow. So the gale warning, you don't see that very often unless there's a hurricane or a tropical storm around, but we don't have that, but we have a very intense low pressure area that continues to move across the southeast. So this is the line of concern all the way now just to the west of Wauchula, stretching down just to the west of Arcadia. It's well east of Venice. It is progressing to the east-southeast, and it stretches all the way down now into Sanibel and into Charlotte Harbor. So people in Punta Gorda, look out. There's these individual cells that you can see right there, kind of defined by the lightning strikes that had the potential for producing a very small but brief tornado in just a short period of time. This is the one where the warning is issued for. It's not very impressive as far as the lightning goes, but right now there's a little bit of rotation right there near State Road 64 in the western portion of Hardee County, and this is where you would expect to see tornadoes develop. Not back here because the rain has already fallen, the stability has come back into play a little bit, but out ahead of it is where you have this warm, moist air feeding into this line that can create the rotation. So anywhere along it and just to the east of it has the potential for producing some brief, small tornadoes as we move through time. Again, this product in particular is showing not the cold front, but I'm trying to move that. There we go. Some heavy rainfall, but that line in particular is showing where the strongest winds may be. And although we may not have tornadoes here, we could see winds up to 60 miles an hour with the potential for some small hail. Going to make a couple more graphics, Scott, and I'll be right back and talking a little bit more about this severe weather outbreak and what it means for us for the remainder of the next couple of days at least. Back to you.
All right, Bob, thank you. We want to remind parents on the Suncoast, Sarasota County Schools canceling all after-school and extracurricular activities and field trips planned for this afternoon. However, after-school childcare has not been canceled. This is the last day of class for students in Sarasota County due to the holiday break. And the same story in Manatee County, all after-school activities canceled for today, with the exception of the extended day and aftercare programs. That includes all athletic contests, practices, as well as other afternoon or evening school events. All of them canceled today. Also want to let you know that excuse me, the reports of some flooded roads just coming into our newsroom. The main roads on Siesta Key, many of them are seeing flooding right now in Impassable. And then Gulfstream and 41 in downtown Sarasota, right near the Ritz-Carlton, all underwater. You should avoid that area if at all possible. Now tonight, over 2 million lights are expected to illuminate Selby Gardens and its walkways during the Bright Lights and Bloom display, but due to the severe weather, the Gardens is closed until 2 this afternoon. Selby staff will decide if this evening's display will still go on as planned. However, I'm just speculating here that it could very well be canceled. We will update that information, though, on our website. A reminder, we want to invite you to download our ABC7 First Alert weather app. This is the kind of day where you really need this tool to keep you and your family safe. You'll get instant alerts about any of the weather threats. We have had tornado warnings, severe thunderstorm warnings, and now flood warnings. So all of that information goes directly to your phone and into this app. So please go to your app store and download it if at all possible, because this is the kind of day where you really need that tool to keep you safe. Turning now to some other stories here on the Suncoast. In Sarasota, police arresting a man accused of selling ecstasy to undercover detectives 19-year-old Dalton Harney is facing drug trafficking charges. Police say he sold detectives Molly or ecstasy at least 3 different times from September through November. They say he delivered 50 grams of the drug, which has an estimated street value of $3,800. Under a new measure filed in Tallahassee, silent panic alarms for emergency situations would be required to link public school buildings in Florida to local law enforcement. That proposal would require each building on public elementary, middle, or high school campuses to be equipped with at least one panic alarm for use in non-fire evacuations, lockdowns, or active shooter situations. State Senator Lauren Book called her proposal Alyssa's Law after Alyssa Alahedef, one of the 17 people killed in the February mass shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland. Still to come, if holiday allergies are keeping you on the sidelines, we'll have some quick tips to take control of your symptoms. And we'll check back in with our First Alert weather team for the latest on our stormy conditions today here on the Suncoast.